Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty interesting. It's this meditation technique, from the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's got like 112 different meditation techniques in it.
Wow.
But the one we're focusing on today, it's called meditation on pure awareness.
Okay, I'm intrigued already. 112 options is a lot. What makes this one stand out?
Well, most types of meditation you hear about, they're focused on like your breath or a mantra.
Right.
But this one, it's totally different.
So what's the focus then?
It's all about being aware of. Well, being aware.
Being aware of being aware. That sounds a little,
Abstract.
yeah, a little bit. Like, how do you even wrap your head around that?
Right. And honestly, when I first read about it, I was like, what? How is that even like a thing?
So how do you meditate on pure awareness?
Okay, so think about it like this. When you're meditating on your breath, for instance, there's a part of you that's observing that breath, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That awareness, that observer, that's what we're trying to tune into.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. But why would you want to do that? What's the point of meditating on just awareness itself?
Right. Like, what's the benefit?
Well, the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra says it can lead to some pretty amazing stuff.
Like what?
Like deep calm,
Yeah.
Not by like forcing your thoughts away, but by seeing them as like temporary events.
Oh, I've heard that analogy before. Like, thoughts are clouds passing through the sky of your awareness.
Exactly. You're not the clouds, you're the sky itself.
Okay, I see. So you're not trying to stop thinking, you're changing how you relate to your thoughts. But does that just mean like ignoring your problems?
No, not at all. It's not about ignoring, it's about detaching. Say you're stressed about work.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Right. Usually you might get totally caught up in those worries. But with this technique, you step back. You see those thoughts, but you don't judge them. You realize they're not permanent. The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra even suggests this can like change how you experience time itself.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like moments might feel less rushed.
Okay, now that's a benefit I can get behind. Less stress and more time. Sign me up. But honestly, my brain feels like a monkey flinging itself between branches all the time. How do I even start to quiet things down?
Well, the technique itself is actually pretty simple.
Okay.
You find a comfortable seated position, you close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and then you gently shift your attention inward.
Inward. Okay.
Not to any specific thought, but to the feeling of being aware itself.
To the feeling of, I don't know, it feels like I'm trying to grab onto like smoke.
I know, it could feel a little elusive at first.
It does.
Think of it like you're looking at the night sky. There are always clouds passing by, but the sky itself, it stays vast and unchanging.
Yeah.
That's your pure awareness.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture that. And yeah, there's this sense of stillness behind all that movement. But this has got to take like years to master, right? Like sitting in a cave or something.
Not necessarily. The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, it says this awareness is always there. It doesn't matter if you're, in a cave or like stuck in traffic. It's about recognizing it more than like achieving it.
Oh, okay. That makes me think of those optical illusions where you see one thing and then suddenly it's something totally different.
Exactly.
Like the awareness is already there. I just need to shift my perspective
Yeah.
to actually see it.
Yeah, and like any skill, the key is consistency. Even just a few minutes every day can make a difference.
Okay, that's good to know. It's not like I need to quit my job and go live in the Himalayas or something.
No, not at all.
What?
In fact, there's actually some really interesting research about how this type of meditation affects the brain. Studies show it can actually decrease activity in the amygdala.
The amygdala. Remind me what that is again.
So the part of your brain that's responsible for fear and stress.
Oh, right. So this isn't just like ancient mystical stuff. There's actual science backing it up.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how these ancient practices are now being validated by modern neuroscience.
That is pretty cool. So we're not just calming our minds. We're actually like rewiring our brains to be less reactive,
More resilient.
Exactly. Okay, color me intrigued. But I'm still a little fuzzy on how this non-attachment thing actually works in real life. Like, it sounds great in theory, but does it actually help when, I don't know, your inbox is exploding and your toddler's having a meltdown?
Think of it like this. Imagine you're holding a glass of water.
Okay, got it. Glass of water.
If you grip it really tightly, your hand starts to ache.
Right, sure.
But if you hold it gently with an open palm, there's no tension. That's what this practice teaches you to do with your thoughts and emotions.
Ah, okay. So instead of gripping my worries and frustrations, I'm learning to hold them lightly, with more space.
Exactly. And that space allows you to respond to those challenges with more clarity and calm. Instead of just reacting impulsively, you're able to choose a more skillful response. The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, it even says that this practice can help you see the world with fresh eyes. Almost like you're experiencing everything for the first time.
Wow. Okay. Now that's something I could really use. I feel like I'm on autopilot most of the time, just going through the motions. But if this can help me actually appreciate those everyday moments more, that's pretty powerful.
It's about waking up to the richness of your experience, both internally and externally. That's where the real magic happens.
All right. I'm definitely sold on the idea. But let's say I'm sitting there trying to connect with this pure awareness, and all these thoughts keep popping up, like annoying ads you can't get rid of. What do I do then?
That's completely normal. Don't worry. Remember the cloud analogy. The clouds. They'll always come and go. The key is not to get caught up in them. Just notice them, acknowledge them, and then gently redirect your attention back to the vast sky of your awareness.
So it's like a mental muscle I'm training. The more I practice, the easier it becomes to redirect my attention.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the stronger that muscle gets. You'll find that you're less bothered by those distracting thoughts.
Yeah.
And you're able to stay present with that underlying awareness for longer periods of time.
Okay, so it's not about instantly achieving some kind of Zen-like state, but it's about gradually cultivating that skill of awareness.
Precisely. And it's really important to be patient with yourself. There will be days when your mind feels like a wild horse, and that's totally okay. Just keep gently guiding it back to the stillness within.
It's funny. When you first described this technique, I thought it sounded a little bit out there, like something only, hardcore meditators could do.
Yeah, I get it.
But the more we talk about it, the more approachable it feels.
That's the beauty of it. It's a practice that's available to anyone, regardless of their experience or background. And the rewards are definitely worth the effort.
I'm ready to give it a try. What about you, listeners? Are you curious to see what happens when you dive into the stillness within?
Before we do that, I think it's important to address something that might be on your mind.
Oh, what's that?
You might be wondering, what if I have trouble sitting still? What if I can't turn off the mental chatter completely?
Yeah, those are definitely valid concerns. I know I struggle with that myself sometimes.
And that's perfectly okay. Remember, this is a practice, not a performance. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra even suggests there are other ways to cultivate this awareness beyond just sitting meditation. You can try walking meditation, mindful movement, even just bringing more awareness to everyday tasks like washing dishes or taking a shower.
So it's more about cultivating a state of mind than adhering to a rigid technique.
Exactly. And it's about finding what works best for you. The important thing is to approach it with a sense of curiosity and openness, and to be kind to yourself along the way.
That's such a reassuring message. It takes the pressure off and makes it feel more like an invitation to explore than a chore to complete.
And that's exactly the spirit we want to bring to this practice.
Well, with that in mind, are you ready to guide us through a little taste of this meditation on pure awareness?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
All right, so we've, explored this whole idea of pure awareness, and we even got a little taste of it ourselves just now. But I'm still thinking about the long game. What happens when this becomes more than just a few minutes here and there?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because, see, the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra says this isn't just about, relaxation or stress relief.
Mm.
It's about a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and the world around you.
Okay, a fundamental shift.
As you practice observing your awareness, you start to realize that you're not your thoughts or your emotions or even your physical sensations.
Right.
You're that which is aware of all those things.
So it's like I'm stepping outside of myself. Becoming the observer, not the one being observed.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the more this sense of detachment becomes part of your everyday life. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, right?
The worst.
And you start to feel that frustration building.
Yeah.
But instead of getting totally swept away by it, you're able to notice it, acknowledge it, and then, choose how you want to respond.
So instead of being like a slave to my emotions, I'm in the driver's seat.
Yeah. But it's not about suppressing how you feel. It's about perspective.
Okay, perspective, right.
The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra uses this metaphor of a mirror.
A mirror.
The mirror reflects everything, but it doesn't hold on to anything. It just observes. And that's what you're cultivating, that ability to just see your thoughts and emotions clearly without getting all caught up in them.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about, the times when you really need your emotions, like feeling joy or connecting with people you love? Does this detachment make you less, I don't know, less human?
Actually, it's quite the opposite. Think about it. When you're lost in anger, for instance, how clearly can you see the situation? How well can you connect with others? This practice, it allows you to experience your emotions fully without being controlled by them.
Interesting. So it's not about like shutting down my emotions. It's about experiencing them in a more, I guess, balanced way.
Exactly. The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra even says that this awareness can heighten your senses. Like colors might seem more vivid, sounds more crisp, food might even taste more delicious.
Wow. Okay. So it's not about becoming some emotionless robot. It's about actually experiencing life more fully. That's pretty cool.
It really is.
But I'm still kind of curious. Can you give me like a real world example of how this plays out?
Sure. Let's say you're facing a tough decision at work.
Okay. Been there.
Right. Normally you might overthink it, get anxious, feel stuck. But with this practice, you can see the situation more objectively. Weigh your options calmly and trust your intuition to guide you to the best choice.
So it's like I'm tapping into a deeper wisdom, a sense of clarity that's always there underneath all the surface noise.
Precisely. And that clarity can extend to every area of your life, your relationships, your creative pursuits, everything.
This has been, wow, really eye-opening. We went from feeling overwhelmed by our thoughts to exploring this ancient technique to realizing it's not about emptying our minds, it's about connecting with this deeper awareness that's already within us.
And the most beautiful part is it's always accessible.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to earn or achieve. It's your true nature, just waiting to be recognized.
So what would it feel like to truly embrace that awareness, to live from that place of stillness and clarity? That's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about. And to our listeners, I really encourage you to do the same. Experiment with this practice. Even if it's just for a few minutes each day, you might be surprised by what you discover along the way.
The peace, the insight.
Maybe even a little magic. Happy meditating, everyone.